Xia dynasty, the dawn after the flood. In the distant ancient era, after the heavens and earth had been set in order and the chaos gradually dissipated, a devastating flood swept across the Central Plains. This cataclysm brought immense suffering to the primitive tribes and became a crucial turning point that transformed human society. According to legend, the great flood control hero, Da Yu, rose to the occasion with unwavering determination and extraordinary wisdom, successfully taming the raging waters and thereby ushering in the first dynasty in Chinese history, the Xia dynasty. Da Yu's story is filled with both grandeur and sorrow. He did not merely rely on building dikes to block the floodwaters. Instead, he ventured deep into the very essence of the river, carefully observing the flow and the landscape. By employing a strategy of channeling the water rather than obstructing it, Da Yu guided the floodwaters along their natural course. It is said that he passed by his family's door 3 times without stopping, placing personal safety aside to devote himself entirely to the task of controlling the flood. As night fell and a gentle breeze caressed the tranquil villages, one could almost hear the echo of Da Yu's resolute footsteps, a timeless spirit of bravery and perseverance that continues to be celebrated by later generations. The establishment of the Xia dynasty not only symbolized the conquest over the flood, but also marked the transformation of primitive tribes into a structured hereditary state. From that moment on, people began recording their family lineages and establishing a more stable social order. Although the historical accounts of the Xia dynasty are interwoven with myth, the spirit of unity, struggle, and the power to change destiny remains one of the most cherished cultural treasures of Chinese civilization. Folk legends, Da Yu's flood control, and the birth of Xia. Folk legends about Da Yu's efforts to tame the floods have been passed down through the ages and have inspired countless poems and dramas. In these stories, Da Yu is not only portrayed as an adept water controller, but also as a selfless hero whose devotion earned the deep respect of the people. Many elders, gathering by the fireside under moonlit skies, whisper this timeless legend. The vivid imagery of battling floodwaters, of contending with the relentless force of nature, sparkles like starlight in their memories, never fading away. In addition, there are various folk tales that recount mysterious happenings associated with the birth of the Xia dynasty. Some say that the establishment of the Xia was not merely the result of Da Yu's personal achievements, but also a blessing bestowed by the heavens. It is as if the gods themselves joined forces at that moment to confer their favor upon Da Yu, transforming his efforts into an eternal legend. This infusion of myth adds a romantic and mysterious glow to the historical records that follow. The cultural and social significance of the Xia dynasty. As the earliest hereditary dynasty in China, the Xia dynasty's significance extends far beyond the success in flood control. This period not only witnessed the transition from a hunting-gathering lifestyle to an agricultural society, but also laid the foundation for the political systems and cultural traditions of later eras. The Xia dynasty initiated the system of hereditary monarchy, shifting governance from kinship-based leadership to dynastic succession. Although many of the historical records of the Xia dynasty are tinged with myth, the underlying spirit of unity, innovation, and transformation has profoundly influenced the development of Chinese civilization. In art and literature, the legends of the Xia dynasty have left a rich legacy. Poets often use Da Yu's flood control efforts as a motif, singing of the heroic struggle against natural disasters and the steadfast pursuit of idealism. Folk dramas and stories frequently portray the mythical images of the Xia, symbolizing the longing for beauty, order, and hope. These tales not only bring history to life with vivid poetic beauty, but also, on quiet nights, gently recount the days when sweat and wisdom forged a new world. The spring and autumn period, a prelude of fragmentation and transformation. As the refined culture of the Zhou dynasty, with its emphasis on ritual and music, gradually matured and took root in the hearts of the people, internal conflicts and power struggles inevitably emerged. By the time of the spring and autumn period, the central authority of the Zhou had weakened, and regional feudal lords began to rise, each governing their own territories in fierce competition. This was an era full of change and challenge, marked by both the theoretical transfer of the mandate of heaven and countless heroic tales of valor and struggle amid chaos. In that era, rulers could no longer govern solely by bloodline or divine right. Instead, complex political rivalries among the feudal lords took center stage. Many folk legends tell of loyal ministers and virtuous sages, of righteous heroes and treacherous villains. The stories of those who fought valiantly on battlefields and held fast to their ideals in troubled times shine like faint yet steadfast stars in the night, illuminating the people's yearning for justice and an ideal society. The spring and autumn period, feudal rivalries and the budding of thought. During the spring and autumn period, the nominal authority of the Zhou king had long since withered, and regional feudal lords governed based on their own strength. In this time, frequent border conflicts and shifting alliances characterized the period, and amidst this turbulence, many new ideas and cultural currents began to emerge. Confucius, Mencius, and other Confucian sages traveled the land, teaching principles of benevolence, righteousness, propriety, and wisdom as guides for governance. At the same time, Taoist, Mohist, and other schools of thought also appeared, their debates sparking countless flashes of insight. Folk legends recount how hermits and wise men journeyed among the feudal states, using their courage and wisdom to mediate disputes and guide people toward the right path. These stories, like soft whispers in the night, not only record the rise and fall of feudal powers, but also impart the timeless message of how wisdom and benevolence can soothe turmoil and lead to harmony. The Warring States period, a time of 100 schools of thought and heroes in chaos. As the spring and autumn period gradually evolved, competition among the feudal lords became ever fiercer, eventually giving way to the Warring States period. In this era, the political landscape shifted dramatically as states abandoned the old ideals of governance based on ritual and propriety in favor of pragmatic power struggles. The Warring States period was not only a stage for military conflict and political maneuvering, but also a time when various schools of thought, legalism, Confucianism, Taoism, Mohism, and others, clashed and merged to create a rich intellectual heritage. In this turbulent era, many heroes emerged from the chaos. Folk legends intertwined tales of intense battlefield strategies with elements of myth. Some accounts say that before decisive battles, certain feudal lords received divine omens, a sudden flash of mysterious light streaking across the night sky that heralded the dawn of victory. Other legends tell of brave warriors who fought with such valor that, at the cost of their lives, they were ultimately deified to guard the nation and protect future generations. These stories add a layer of romance and mystique to the bloody history of the Warring States, transforming a period of strife into one imbued with poetic beauty. The interweaving of history and myth, from ritual to rule of law. The decline of the Zhou dynasty and the ensuing turbulence of the spring and autumn and Warring States periods reflect not only a change in political power, but also a fundamental transformation in governing philosophies. As the Zhao exalted ritual and the mandate of heaven, the emergence of legalism during the Warring States period ushered in a new era, one based on strict law and rigid administration. Confucianism championed benevolence and moral rectitude, while legalism emphasized the rule of law and rigorous standards. These intense ideological clashes made the Warring States period a brilliant era of 100 schools of thought. Folk legends recount the journeys of hermits and sages, their soft-spoken teachings guiding people in the midst of chaos. These stories, like gentle murmurs in the night, reveal both the harsh realities of history and the eternal hope for a life of peace, justice, and harmony. Turbulent times, fragmentation and change in the spring and autumn and Warring States eras. Following the decline of the Zhou, the spring and autumn period unfolded, a time of feudal fragmentation, intense competition, and endless war strategies. Rulers no longer governed by divine mandate alone, but had to rely on military strength, political acumen, and shifting alliances. This chaotic period, despite its grand displays of power and heroic ambitions, brought immense suffering to the common people, deepening their desire for stability and harmony. Folk legends tell of wise sages and virtuous ministers gathered around flickering fires on moonlit nights, recounting epic battles and mysterious omens. Some say that on a night bathed in brilliant moonlight, the sky suddenly revealed a divine omen, as if heaven itself declared that the age of chaos was ending and a new era was dawning. In this historical context, a powerful new state was quietly rising, promising order and justice. The rise of Qin, the dawn of unification. Amid the splintered feudal states, the state of Qin began to stand out through its strict legalism and formidable military prowess. Qin's rise was not only due to internal reforms and unification measures, but also bolstered by folk legends of mysterious divine interventions. It is said that when the world was engulfed in endless strife, deities sent down auspicious signs, foretelling that a powerful and just regime would emerge to replace the old tyranny and division. These omens added a mythic aura to Qin's ascent, allowing people in turbulent times to catch a glimpse of hope. Rulers of Qin recognized that to thrive in this chaotic era, they must overhaul the old systems entirely. Thus, they implemented sweeping reforms, unifying the script, currency, measurements, and even the width of chariots, eliminating barriers between states at the systemic level. These measures not only greatly enhanced domestic communication, but also laid a solid foundation for cultural transmission for generations to come. In the stillness of the night, one might imagine the soft whispers of ancient voices recounting how Qin, with its cold and rigorous laws, wove together a fractured world into a unified whole. Legend also tells that after unifying the 6 states, Qin Shi Huang dreamed of deities descending from the heavens, guiding him in the quest for an elixir of immortality. This tale of seeking eternal life and mystical elixirs not only adds a romantic twist to the Qin narrative, but also reflects the era's intense desire to transcend mortality and achieve everlasting existence. Whether it is the epic battles that unified the realm or the fantastical search for immortality, Qin's history weaves together harsh reality with dreamlike myth, composing an era that is both brutal and imbued with ethereal wonder. Legalism and centralized power, Qin's governing way. The emergence of Qin marked the establishment of a centralized, authoritarian state. Rulers no longer depended solely on lineage and traditional rituals. Instead, they adopted strict legalist principles to concentrate power in the center. Laws and military might became the foundation for maintaining unity, and the people, under stringent regulations, began to embrace a unified social order. Although this governing approach was harsh, it provided invaluable experience and institutional support for future unified states in China. Folk legends recount many tales of Qin's rule and its emphasis on legalism. Some stories speak of a mysterious light descending from the heavens at the inception of Qin, a sign of divine approval for the legalist system. Others tell of how, when the common people suffered under the chaos and division, the Qin rulers, with steadfast conviction and iron-fisted policies, wove the fractured world into an orderly and prosperous family. These tales, while tinged with myth, authentically reflect the intense yearning for unity, stability, and prosperity that prevailed in society at that time. The symphony of history and myth, from chaos to unification. The rise of Qin was both a historical inevitability and a fantastical process interwoven with myth and legend. From the endless conflicts of the spring and autumn and warring states periods, to Qin's thunderous unification of the realm, every phase was imbued with passion and poetic beauty. The brave soldiers on the battlefield and the wise hermits whispering in the dead of night endowed this period with rich emotion and a sense of mystery. As you listen quietly to this narrative, you can almost feel the powerful force of unification rising from the chaos, as well as the meticulously detailed legends of legalist rigor and divine omens, a soft, timeless whisper crossing through the ages, gently caressing your heart in the stillness of the night. This history not only demonstrates how humanity found a path to unity amid fire and chaos, but also delivers a profound message. Only through wisdom, courage, and an unwavering commitment to justice can a divided world be transformed into a harmonious and prosperous whole. Please take your time to immerse yourself in this detailed narration of how the Qin dynasty emerged from the chaos of the spring and autumn and Warring States periods to establish a unified empire. Let these historical accounts, intertwined with folk legends and mythic omens, gently illuminate your mind like the soft glow of moonlight. When you are ready, we can continue our exploration of more fascinating chapters of ancient Chinese history and myth. After the fall of Qin, a nation in turmoil, the dawn of a new era. The Qin dynasty once established a unified empire through its iron-fisted legalist system, yet its brutal tyranny and harsh laws quickly sparked widespread resentment. As internal strife intensified and years of warfare and popular uprisings ravaged the land, this once unified empire ultimately crumbled amidst chaos. When the flames of war finally subsided and the dust settled, the yearning for peace and justice among the people had reached its peak, heralding the birth of a new era. It is against this backdrop that the prologue to the Chuhan contention slowly unfolds, as two great forces begin a decisive struggle that will determine the fate of the world. Chuhan contention, heroes leaving the old behind, embracing the new. The struggle between Chu and Han was not merely a contest of military might and political power, but also a dialogue between ideals and destiny. The Western Chu, led by the formidable Xiang Yu, rose swiftly with his astonishing valor and unbridled passion, instilling awe throughout the realm. Meanwhile, Liu Bang, born of humble origins, gradually won the hearts of the people with his cunning strategies and compassionate nature. In these troubled times, the two heroes displayed their unique prowess, and their confrontation became akin to a symphony of fate, a battle marked by the ferocity of blood and fire, yet underpinned by a gentle, steadfast hope. In that turbulent era, numerous folk legends were passed down about loyal ministers, virtuous sages, and heroic recluses. Some say that on the eve of a decisive battle, Xiang Yu dreamt of his ancestors' heroic spirits descending from the heavens, with mysterious omens flickering in the night sky. Others claim that Liu Bang heard celestial melodies deep in the night, guiding him on how to hoist the sails of popular support. These richly mythologized tales add a poetic dimension to the fierce struggles of the era, allowing those in despair to see the first glimmers of rebirth amid the chaos. The rise of Liu Bang, from humble beginnings to kingship. Liu Bang, originally an ordinary magistrate in Pei County, possessed an unyielding heart that refused to accept mediocrity. Through countless trials and tribulations, he gradually revealed extraordinary wisdom and a compassionate spirit. Legend has it that on many nights before dawn, Liu Bang would quietly gaze at the starry sky, listening to whispers that seemed to cross the bounds of time, as if urging him, only by embracing the hearts of the people and ruling with virtue can you change destiny. It was precisely this resilience and humility that allowed him to emerge as a leader amid the chaos. In his fierce clashes with Xiang Yu, Liu Bang displayed both decisive courage and profound strategic foresight. Although Xiang Yu was a fearsome warrior, Liu Bang excelled at employing tactics, flexibly deploying his troops, and forming strategic alliances. This blend of battle-hardened wisdom and modest grace enabled Liu Bang to ultimately prevail in the conflict and establish a new empire, the Han Dynasty. In folktales, Liu Bang is celebrated as the benevolent sovereign. His victory is remembered not only as a military triumph, but also as a miracle achieved through the convergence of popular support and divine favor. Xiang Yu's tragic brilliance and Liu Bang's humble resolve. Xiang Yu, the great king of Western Chu, was renowned for his bold and valiant achievements on the battlefield. Yet his excessive fierceness and inflexibility in strategy gradually left him vulnerable in decisive encounters. According to folk legends, on one fateful night before a major battle, Xiang Yu walked alone to a quiet riverside and gazed at the star-strewn sky, as if conversing with the souls of his ancestors, lamenting the tragic fate of heroes whose destinies are marred by loss and sorrow. His mournful refrain echoed across the battlefield, moving many loyal warriors to tears, while also exposing the harsh realities of fate and the fragility of human nature. At the same time, Liu Bang won the people's hearts with his humility and pragmatic approach. It is said that on the eve of a crucial battle, Liu Bang spent a quiet night in conversation with wise advisors, discussing how to unite the scattered forces into a single, cohesive hope. His gentle, flowing words, full of anticipation for the future and deep care for all under heaven, became the very soul of the Han Dynasty. A battle of fate and wisdom. The Chu-Han contention was more than a military confrontation. It was a struggle of destiny and intellect. Xiang Yu, known for his boldness and fierce demeanor, once seemed unstoppable, yet his rigid approach failed to harness the power of popular support. In contrast, Liu Bang triumphed through his strategic acumen and compassionate leadership, skillfully winning the hearts of the people even amidst the tumult. Folk legends abound with tales of both heroes pondering their fate deep into the night, under a canopy of stars, discussing their strategies. These soft whispers seem to remind future generations that even in a world awash with blood and fire, a gentle wisdom and a compassionate heart can also achieve greatness. Ultimately, Liu Bang emerged victorious in his contest with Xiang Yu, founding the Han Dynasty and ushering in a new era. His success was not only the result of meticulously crafted military strategies, but also of his keen grasp of the people's will and a sharp understanding of the broader currents of fate. On quiet nights, as ancient legends are softly recounted under the gentle glow of the moon, Liu Bang's calm and humility seem to silently speak. True heroes are defined not just by their battlefield triumphs, but by their ability to find peace and harmony amid chaos. The clash of legalism and Confucianism, from chaos to unity. Throughout the Chu-Han struggle, two major ideological systems also clashed fiercely. The rise of legalist thought during the Warring States period, which emphasized strict laws and centralized power, had laid the groundwork for Qin's unification. Yet during the Chu-Han contention, Liu Bang gradually absorbed the principles of Confucian benevolence, emphasizing people-centric and compassionate governance. This shift, from extreme legalism to a more inclusive blend of law and kindness, not only reflected the evolution of ruling philosophies, but also deeply influenced later models of state governance. Folk legends often recount the murmurs of reclusive sages, softly advising that only by combining law with benevolence can lasting peace and order be achieved.